All right, we're back. Briefly, one of our defendants has shown up late, about an hour late, but better late than not at all. So I'm trying to reconvene Miss Jackson and reconvene our interpreter, Pablo Bayo. So we're gonna address that. Then we have a couple of PV arraignments at 9:30. We'll see whether anybody shows up. Today's first line was related to yesterday's first line in that Jerry Rafferty was with Joe Egan, the driving force behind Steeler's wheel. And then he had that one large hit, Baker Street, which caused the Baker Street effect, where they would attempt to put saxophone in all kinds of songs. There was a dispute. The saxophone guy claimed that he invented the riff, but they had some early demo recordings that showed that that was actually part of the original song. Anyway, it's a good song, fun to sing along with. And we'll get back to work. Where's the guy? Narcisco. Are they
I'm
printing
thinking
him?
he might be getting printed.
All
I
right.
didn't see him out there
Yeah,
just now.
he needed to get printed.
So let me go check. I lost my paper here.
Sometimes that's how the day works. Actually, this morning isn't bad. This afternoon might be unpleasant zoning stuff. Some days are diamonds, some days are rocks. I understand the guy walked in and here he is. He was actually here before. All right, everybody have a seat. All right, good morning. I don't know what time it is in the Netherlands, but we're gonna get started with our second iteration. Thank you again for saying good morning. Working on a good Wednesday. Interested to see what catered lunch will be at the county luncheon. Autumn wants to know too. I like Chin. It's kind of far away. It's in Mattawan. Pablo, thank you for rejoining us. This defendant arrived late and we're going to deal with his issues. I would call to the podium Narcisco Hernandez.
Estoy llamando al señor Narciso Hernández.
Have the other guy take off his hat.
Que se quite su gorra.
As you said, Narcisco. All right. The handsome man on the screen is Senor Pablo Bayo.
Persona en la pantalla es el señor Pablo Bello, señor.
Did you include the handsome part?
No.
I want a literal translation. Anyway, sir, you got some tickets on December 9th of 2024.
Señor, le dieron varias multas el 9 de diciembre del 2024.
In file 242175 SM.
Su número de caso es el 241757M.
You're charged with no insurance.
El cargo que le están haciendo es de que no traía usted un seguro de automóvil.
Sí. In file 276.
El otro expediente 24176.
Charged with driving with no valid driver's license.
El cargo que le están haciendo, está usted manejando sin una licencia de manejo válida.
In file 242177.
Y el otro expediente 24177.
You're charged with leaving the scene of a personal injury accident.
Se fue usted del lugar de un accidente donde una persona resultó lesionada.
You were given an appearance date of January 8th of 2025.
Le dijeron que se presentara el 8 de enero del 2025.
And you promptly failed to appear, never showed up back in January.
Usted nunca se presentó en enero al tribunal, señor.
So bench warrants issued for your arrest.
Por lo que se hizo una orden de arresto.
Arrested on December 2nd of 2025.
Lo arrestaron el 2 de diciembre del 2025.
When you got charged with drunk driving.
Ese acto lo hicieron y le imputaron el cargo de manejar bajo la influencia del alcohol.
Formerly known as operating while intoxicated.
Que se llama que estaba usted operando un vehículo bajo la influencia del alcohol. También le hicieron otro cargo. Este es un delito menor, señor. Esa ofensa se castiga hasta con 93 días de cárcel.
A fine of up to $500.
Una multa de $500.
6 points on your driving record.
6 puntos en su licencia de manejo
and the suspension of your driver's license.
y la suspensión de su licencia de manejo también.
On that day, they also charge you with having open alcohol in a vehicle.
También le imputaron el cargo de que tenía usted una botella, una lata de alcohol abierta, cerveza o de lo que sea abierta en su automóvil.
That is punishable by up to 90 days in jail and a fine of up to $100.
Ese delito se puede castigar con 90 días de cárcel y $100 de multa, señor.
They also charge you with driving without a valid driver's license.
También le están haciendo otro cargo de que estaba manejando sin una licencia de manejo.
And improper lane use.
Otra ofensa que le están imputando, estaba usando de una manera incorrecta un carril de la carretera.
So I believe that's a total of 7 charges over 2 separate days.
Son 7 cargos en total en 2 días.
Do you still live on West Street in Sturgis?
¿Todavía vive en West Street en Sturgis, señor?
Sí.
In my opinion, you need a lawyer to help you with this.
En mi opinión, usted necesita un abogado para que le ayude con todos estos casos.
All charges. I'm going to appoint an attorney,
Le voy a asignar un abogado público, señor.
set an attorney pretrial for February the 6th of 2026.
Tiene usted una preaudiencia con el abogado el 6 de febrero del 2026. Okay.
If you are trying to get deported, you're doing a pretty good job of it.
Si usted quiere que lo deporten, está usted haciendo un muy buen trabajo.
To get a bunch of tickets and then not show up for court
Le dieron un montón de multas y no se presenta para, al tribunal. Y después lo arrestan por manejar borracho.
and failing to appear on all the old tickets
Y no se presenta al tribunal para enfrentar todas las multas, ¿no?
is not a good thing.
No es una buena cosa.
And you also showed up an hour late for court. So I'm going to get a lawyer to help you with all of this.
Entonces le voy a asignar un abogado del tribunal para que lo ayude con problemas.
I want you to call the lawyer and make an appointment to discuss this case with them.
Quiero que llame usted a este abogado que le estoy asignando y le explique todos los problemas que tiene.
And they don't speak English, so you're going to need someone to help interpret.
El abogado no habla inglés, entonces necesita usted un intérprete, señor, para comunicarse con el abogado.
We will have an interpreter here on February the 6th to help in court.
Vamos a tener un intérprete el 6 de febrero para ayudarlo aquí en la audiencia en el tribunal.
And it's important that you come to court and that you come on time.
Es importante que se presente a la audiencia y se presente a tiempo.
All right, the court officer is going to take you out and get that court-appointed attorney for you.
Entonces ahorita el oficial lo va a llevar a la ventanilla y para que hagan el trámite para darle un abogado del tribunal, señor.
I'll see you on February the 6th.
Nos vemos el 6 de febrero, señor.
Okay.
Thank you, Pablo. We'll just assume you were still under oath the second time, too. All right, thank you for your help.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Ms. Jackson, thank you also for sticking around. That kid needs some help. Matt and I were talking yesterday. I don't know what percentage of our drunk driving cases are going to be young Mexican men, but it might be almost 50%. I just don't know about that whole phenomenon of cavalier indifference. Anyway, we've got a couple of probation violation arraignments set for 9:30 and doesn't like we're going to be very successful with those. Oh, is he? Well, enjoy the rest of your day off.
Thank you.
It's supposed to start raining, which will take all the, yes, 44 degrees and raining.
Well, if the stuff doesn't freeze,
Then it's supposed to be an instant freeze after that.
really?
Yes,
Are you not joking?
I'm gonna stop the record. My ears are really plugged up. This is Shane Long from Burr Oak. He was placed on probation on April 9th of 2025 for 24 months on a charge of domestic assault or domestic violence with a deferral. His probation officer is Autumn Kiefer. She's filed a probation violation petition alleging that he has violated the probation by failing to abstain from the use of alcohol or drugs or to test on demand. alleging that he tested positive on November 13th, November 9th, also August 12th,
And several more days added.
and
to
several
that.
more days. I think he just threw, other than the alcohol part, was he complying with the terms of the probation?
He's attending the domestic group. We had an issue with financially. He's back on the horse with that. He has attended 20 sessions out of 26. He's working and attending treatment, but we have violated with the alcohol.
Which has been a struggle. Well, I'm pleased to hear that other part. I think it's in the thing. Mr. Long, I think we're gonna need to get a lawyer to help you with this. I've been in your business for a while. How old are you now?
32.
When did we start? When you were like 28, maybe?
I think first time I was ever in your courtroom, I was,
21.
yeah,
We made a good go at sobriety court. We didn't get to the finish line. You're a decent guy, but you got a fundamental alcohol substance abuse disorder. We made some progress. Also, the things are then related to a domestic violence or domestic assault. This is a deferral. If you complete the deferral, the domestic violence charge could be taken off your record. You've done 20 of the 26 classes, and you're still gonna be on probation. Let's look at the original judgment, because I think I got 30 days of jail hanging over your head. I could go several different ways here. The allegation is you violated your probation by continuing to test positive for alcohol. We let the one in August slide. Then we had all these in November. Autumn came to see me and said, what are we gonna do with this? I said, well, set a probation violation hearing. I could just pull the pin and you could do Christmas and New Year's in jail. And then you wouldn't complete the class. We could continue the probation and you continue with the class, and we could do some sort of intermediate sanction. Weekends in jail and then finally get to the finish line. But I don't have any more resources than I have in sobriety court. Takes all our heart and soul into that. And you were always polite, respectful. You just got a problem that you're struggling with. But I wasn't real keen on this domestic assault either, which also had alcohol connected to it. Are you working someplace?
yes, sir. I work at O'Reilly's.
Oh, yes. You miss work right now?
No, I gotta go in. Typically work through Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays. Tonight I go in at 5 to close.
I'm gonna appoint an attorney, set a PV hearing. Autumn, do you need to see him?
We just spoke yesterday on the phone.
Like I said, this could go several different ways. Now, you're still on probation. I want you to complete the domestic violence class. That's the most important component of the whole thing. That gives us some more latitude on what we're gonna do. By putting you in jail for 30 days, you're gonna lose your job. You're gonna have a domestic violence conviction on your record. You're gonna start from zero. And it's easy for me to say, hey, don't drink any alcohol. That's what I try to do when you're in sobriety court. If people could quit, they just would. So you have to work at it. At some point, either way, I'm gonna get off your back. I'm gonna discharge you successfully from probation, or I'm just gonna put you in jail, and then when you get out of jail, you won't be on probation anymore. I'd rather do the first one than the last one. Anyway, you go out to the counter. We're gonna appoint an attorney for you and set up PV hearing. Devin Ackerson, this is another probation violation arraignment. Both defendants were here. This is file number 25959SM. I drive past Mr. Ackerson's house on the way to work every day. He is charged with domestic assault. It was a 2-count charge of domestic assault, alleging that back in May, he assaulted Mackenzie Garcia by strangulation and then domestic assault. The charge of great bodily harm by strangulation was dismissed. The defendant pled to domestic assault with a deferral. His probation officer, Matt Huff, has proposed a probation violation. Same issue. I'll read the petition and I'll go back to the status report. The petition is alleged that you failed to abstain from the use of drugs or alcohol or submit to a test on demand. According to the status report, and this little snake is raising its head again, cocaine. You tested positive for cocaine on August 15th, August 27th, and October 27th. And then you were, quote, out of town on October 28th. Your struggle is you can't afford cocaine. How is he doing in the domestic violence class?
Well, Your Honor, it's a bit complicated. We were waiting for him to get into his CDL class. He wants to be a truck driver, and that's a Monday through Friday. He has to get a schedule where they do that. I wanted him to start in that so we could find the domestic violence class that would work to where he could also make it through there. And we didn't get him through 5 or 6 sessions in order to get ripped out so that he could do the CDL classes, start all over again. So he has not begun those domestic violence classes today.
Yeah, this happened in May.
Well, that's when the offense took place, but he hasn't been on probation since May. It happened back in I believe August.
August 12th.
Yes.
He didn't get sentenced until, well, that day.
Yeah.
Again, there's 30 days hung over your head. You're not gonna get your CDL if you test positive for cocaine.
Yes, sir, I understand that.
Be a fool's errand. I see that you're recommending continued probation and some jail. I think he could benefit from an attorney as well.
Yeah, I think, I mean, based on the conversations I've had with Mr. Akerson, there's potential, I think, for a resolution here. He knows that I want to continue to work with him. One thing that I would add is that we do have an updated testing record that I pulled yesterday. And so that does add a couple more missed tests and then also another positive for cocaine on December 11th. So the recommendation would be slightly more, but I still want to work with him as long as he is willing to address the substance abuse problem. And I think he's got a really good opportunity for this case to go away as a deferral and for him to move forward with his life. He wants to get his CDL and probably move in the direction that he would like to. Then I'd like to keep it on the table because he's always reporting. He's always polite and courteous. I mean, kind of in the same vein of Mr. Long. I mean, I'm dealing with, and that's the purpose of probation as it is, reformation. So as long as he's willing to.
Well, one option is to just give him 31 days in jail or 93 days in jail and call it good. That isn't going to do anything to address your cocaine addiction. You can't afford cocaine. There's a hole in daddy's arm where all the money goes. Do you have a new baby?
Right there, sir.
Well, that's all the reason you need right there is to get off of this hellbound train.
Yep, I do. May I add, I have an interview for waste management tomorrow. So I am trying to get a way better job. And they said they'll pay for my training to become a CDL driver.
All right. I'm disappointed that we haven't started it. Is he on the anger management or the full DV?
Domestic violence. Yeah.
I mean, it was a felony strangulation case.
I've recently run into this problem before where I had to start somebody over after they were 8 sessions in because they couldn't swap groups. And it was a matter of choosing whether or not they were going to go unemployed or whether or not they were going to continue with domestic violence group. Community Corrections in Kalamazoo indicated that if they have to take a time out, it's going to reset them back to number one. So that was my motivation. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. I suppose that's on me.
Well, that maybe there is no right answer. Each answer is as right as the other, but I am disappointed. And it's a 26-week program.
It is.
So, but the underlying issue is the cocaine. A, it's very debilitating. B, it's money away from his family. And it messes with your cognition and your anger and your well-being. The original facts were not good. There was a gun involved, and that wasn't good. Your girlfriend pointed it at you. They ended up taking the guns away. There's some video, kicked her car, slammed her against the house, hit her head on the meter, threw her to the ground, grabbed her pants and ripped them down. She was pregnant. I remember this case. The plea was a gift. He's sort of complying. He reports. He hasn't started any treatment. He's continuing to use, is he tested positive for anything else other than cocaine?
The initial test was very low levels of THC, but that's out of the system. So no, is the answer you're looking for.
Are you still at the auto parts place in
No,
Kalamazoo?
sir.
So where are you now?
I do snow plowing for total property in Three Rivers. That's the only job I can get, can work with me and her schedule to watch the baby.
I don't like the thought of you being under the influence of cocaine while you're watching a baby. That ain't a good plan either. All right, I'm gonna appoint an attorney and set a PV hearing. You're gonna need to get it together. You're gonna end up in jail for a substantial period of time. We have a sense of what are our priorities, CDL class or DV class. He's gonna be on probation for 2 years at this rate. And if he's continuing to test positive or blow off the tests, and there is no Suboxone or antabuse or methadone for cocaine addiction. Ozempic and some of those new weight loss drugs may also affect cravings for controlled substance. But you're gonna need to do something rather than to just hold your breath and say, I'm not gonna use any cocaine. What limited resources you have are getting spent on 8 balls. And whoever's selling it to you gets a special ring in hell for doing that to a man with a young baby. One way to make you quit is just give you 90 days in jail and let you detox. But Matt has some faith in the opportunity to be successful. I don't know how much cocaine was a factor in everything that went down in May. You certainly were very angry, but we'll get a lawyer to help you with this. His goal is to continue the probation rather than pull the pin. I guess we'll see how this plays out. You're still on probation. You're positive for cocaine as recently as December 11th. And I know it's easy for some guy in a black gown up here to say, don't use cocaine, but you need to do something. You need to get into NA, you need to get in Celebrate Recovery. You need to do something other than just say, I'm going to try not to use cocaine today, then go out and spend your family's money on it. This is important. If you're going to get a job in the trucking industry, you don't want a domestic violence conviction on your record. And this is a gift from the prosecutor to take this off. Proselytizing. You just need to get it together. You're going to end up in jail. So we'll get a lawyer, we'll set a PV hearing, we'll discuss what our options are. One option, as Matt had proposed, is some jail sanctions on weekends. We'll see how we're doing. And I want to see if you're in some sort of support group. Like I said, cocaine is an old demon that was gone for a number of years and it's resurrected. Plus, they kept putting fentanyl in it. We had a number of people that OD'd thinking they were using cocaine. You're good to go. I'll stop bitching at you. I'll see you when you have your lawyer here. We talk about this further.
Okay.
All right, you're good to go. All right, I have a zoning show cause in about 5 minutes. So I'm gonna stop this.